The skip intro button. A convenient tool for television addicts like myself to help maximize our binging efficiency, or a slap in the face of all the creators out there who put their heart and soul into their work. Now, while I do lean toward the latter, the truth is probably somewhere in between, because as much as I'd love to, and I'm definitely still going to, preach about how you should stop skipping the intro and learn to appreciate the art of the opening sequence, I'd be lying if I said I haven't been guilty of skip intro button abuse in the past. It's a very serious crime.
Believe it or not, jail.
There were a handful I'd stick around for, like Daredevil, because, look at it, listen to it. The music, the imagery, the stellar use of a singular color. Right here, you got Blind Justice. Daredevil is blind. And also, Lawyer, I would never skip that shit. But usually, I'd watch the opening sequence maybe once or twice, and it's skip, like a boxer getting ready for boxing. Because you know what, there are good reasons to skip the intro. Let's be honest, some of them straight up just suck. Like Pac-Man, and the Mindy Project, or Pac-Man, the New Girl theme. Makes me want to Van Gogh myself on both sides. Pretty good show though, I'd recommend it. But even with a good opening, if you've already seen it like 50 times, it can get redundant. If I'm binging a show and there's a good cliffhanger or something.
Did you steal my bagels this morning?
I want to get right into the next episode. Then the fucking intro comes up for the 8th time in a row, and it's like, god damn it, here we go. Now I gotta sit through 30 to 90 entire seconds of some well thought out, beautifully crafted, artistic piece of shit. When all I want to know is what terrible thing the fucking sad horse did this time.
I'm sad!
But you know what, recently, I've been paying a lot more attention to opening sequences, and I have a newfound appreciation for the artistry behind them. Also, this weird new purple version of Netflix I got doesn't actually have a skip intro button, and if I do it manually, I run the risk of messing up the buffer, potentially wasting even more time than if I had just watched the fucking thing in the first place. So, between those two equally valid reasons, I've pretty much just stopped skipping them entirely. Your mom's poorly available. One good reason to stick around for the intro is that it might have some new content. A prime example of this is The Simpsons, where every sequence has a different chalkboard joke, saxophone solo, and of course the now iconic couch gag. Futurama is a little more basic in that regard, but it does continue the tradition with a new funny slogan at the beginning, and I'm pretty sure the little fucking cartoon thing at the end usually changes. Oh yeah, look at that. The Bob's Burgers theme is nice and relaxing, and the intro always ends with a couple goofy puns, which are really fun. But going back to Sad Horsemen for a second, apart from being a great intro in general, with a dope instrumental and BoJack drifting through life in a drunken haze, BoJack Horseman's opening sequence not only changes the images season to season, but quite often, subtle things in the environment are altered episode to episode depending on the storyline. Now obviously skipping this won't ruin the experience of the show, but giving the intro its own sort of version of an emotional arc is a really cool detail that makes an already great show that much more special. I think cartoons in general seem to have really good openings. King of the Hill always stood out to me. I love the contrast where the music is all... Meanwhile, they're just standing there drinking beers really fast. Beer, take out the trash. Now, I don't know if King of the Hill would necessarily benefit from this because it's solid as is, but music is another area where variety can go a long way. Master of None's intro is pretty simple, but the cool thing about it is they change the song based on the mood of the episode, making each one feel sort of like its own mini-movie. Atlanta does a similar thing, but they take it a step further by always changing the opening shot and getting creative with the title placement. I love this approach because the right song is key for setting a proper tone, and if your show is versatile, then switching it up is a great way to reflect that. This is what David Chase planned to do for The Sopranos, but HBO refused because they're worried about something called branding consistency. Fucking nerds. Of course, what we got is iconic, but keeping it fresh would have had me much less inclined to start skipping the intro as the series went on.
You right to jail.
But aside from marketing bullshit, there are creative reasons to use the same track every time. For instance, the OC never changes the song because they want to make sure you know what state it takes place in.
California.
I'm just waiting on that reboot from fucking South Dakota. Community had great variations for some of their themed episodes. Not that I would skip it normally, because I love that intro, but the unique openings always gave the genre homage episodes an immersive quality that really helped solidify the theme they were going for. Now maybe you don't give a shit about theme variations or micro details, but I think taking the time to watch a good intro and see what little things they might have tweaked adds a whole lot to the experience. But even if they never change, there are plenty of great opening sequences that warrant a rewatch simply from the sheer amount of artistry and detail they were made with. This is really common with the elaborate prestige drama type intros that have become almost synonymous with HBO shows like Westworld or Game of Thrones or True Detective or Pac-Man. I'm a big fan of Halt and Catch Fire's opening, but I think even they know they fucked up not using Mr. Peanut Butter's version.
I feel the heat. Control Alt Delete. Halt and catch fire.
That's the stuff. Masters of Sex assembles a nice, clever collection of fun euphemisms and fucks you in the eyes with them. The Leftovers Season 1 opening is an orgy of paintings in a Sistine Chapel-style fresco. Shut up. I know art term. Season 2, though, is more like a Brooklyn Chase movie. Still looks good, but it's better on mute. And then you got Dexter's fantastic opening, which has been analyzed to death. So I don't really know what more I can add to it. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, I thought he was like murdering somebody, but it's just a fruit. And this is only a small sample size of the Costco brand family pack bulk amount of great intros out there that make it worth sticking around for that extra minute or two. Whether it's from subtle variations, immense creative detail, or a combination of both, these opening sequences do a great job of ensuring a certain level of replay value. But switching gears for a sec, you know what doesn't need replay value? Nothing. Or at least something really short, like Lost, with its 15 seconds of ominous music and a basic title moving toward the screen, like Now there have been short intros before. The Shield had this swift, kind of annoying... Okay, really annoying. Shut the fuck up. Great show though, I'd recommend it. But Lost, being as big as it was, kind of set the trend of brief minimalistic intros that a lot of shows use nowadays. Superstore had this little time lapse of a Superstore. Barry just comes in real quick like
The show is Barry. Barry is the
show. Hell, even New Girl changed to this format after a few seasons, thank God. But these are all intros that even my artistically challenged ass could make.
What on earth is this?
Why didn't you draw the book first?
I don't know how to draw a book, dude.
What?
And yet, the lack of an intricate opening never really impacted my feelings on these shows as a whole, which had me thinking, what is the point? You know, does the intro really even matter? But now I realize that it's all a reflection of the content. You know, you set aside tradition and money and, yes, branding consistency. Quiet. And all that horse shit. From a creative standpoint, the opening sequence is meant to be the best possible representation of your show's tone in a limited amount of time. Whether that means perfecting the elaborate prestige drama type intro with Mad Men, or using a super short theme with a couple basic titles so you can get right into the densely packed world of The Good Place. I think taken on their own, one of these is clearly more interesting in an artistic sense, but they both perfectly serve the purpose of their particular shows. And what I've noticed from watching hundreds of these intros is that most of them do. They're not all amazing, but usually they're pretty good, or at the very least perfectly fine, and I had to go out of my way to find a few truly shitty ones. I understand the urge to want to skip the intro and get to the actual episode, but if you have the time, I would strongly encourage you to start further exploring the openings of some of your favorite shows. Chances are they probably have more to offer than you might think. You know, maybe you'll catch something you never saw before, or maybe you'll get captivated by the beauty of a particularly great opening. Or if you're rushing through a marathon of episodes, maybe you can take that time to just chill the fuck out for a second. You know, when I find myself overindulging in TV as an expedient escape, a quick distraction from the incessant chatter going on in my brain, I try and take that 30 to 90 entire seconds of well thought out, beautifully crafted artistic brilliance as an opportunity to just Breathe.
That is dog shit.